Hi, today we're going to be talking about using Zoom for your classroom lectures. So there's a lot of things you can do with Zoom, and there's a lot of ways that you can use Zoom in your classroom. So let's take a look at some of these options. So I'm sure you have seen these past few months that a meeting can be done almost anywhere, but you got to think about how you're going to be in your classroom. So remember, you can share your screen, you can share your programs, you can share any type of presentation software that you want to. There are going to be a few limitations with using those in the classroom and on the computer, so you need to be aware of some of those. Here are some things to think about. So in the video of my teaching, you're about to see some limitations for the presentation. You'll notice that the camera angle isn't always great. Look at the video size and where it is located. What I was doing was sharing my screen. So you'll see the placement of my video in the top corner. Also, think about the audio options that you have. Right now, I'm using a headset with a dedicated microphone. But in the classroom, there's not going to be a headset with a dedicated microphone unless you bring one in. So I'm using the audio options that are available within the classroom and on the microphone. Also notice a background. The background is something your students are going to have to stare at the whole time. So you notice that I am sharing my screen, so you don't see all of the things I might be doing on my screen because of programs that aren't being shared. So there are things that I was doing that were not going to be seen because of the specific programs that I was showing. One more thing, when you are recording, there are two options that you can use for the recording options of your lectures. Now, you do not have to record your entire lecture. There could be just a portion that you would like to record for everybody to view later on. You can record the whole class. And there's two options for that. There's a local recording and the cloud recording. We at the DEC suggest that you use the cloud recording because that is going to be something that you're going to be able to take with you to the next class. If you use local recording, then there is sometimes a 15-20 minute lag time between the ending of the presentation and the availability of it. And there's just not enough time for you to sit around in the class waiting for that recording to show up on your computer. So we suggest using the cloud recording. There's some options with that. This can be something that you can look at a little bit later.
So let's just take a look at some of the options that you can do with this and also some of the limitations that you have. So the first limitation you're going to have is the amount of whiteboard that is behind you. This is definitely not a lot of space, and you can definitely move the camera back and forth, but it's probably best not to write in this space because this space is behind me that it is about 2 feet by 3 feet. So it's not very large for you to write. You have to remember that you have the whole class in front of you and they're going to need to see the content on here. Likewise, if you're teaching, you're not going to want to go all the way to the other end of the whiteboard to start writing because then again, the people that are watching the video are not going to be able to see, they're not going to be able to hear. The microphones on these cameras are okay. They do work, but picking up from across the room is probably not going to be the best thing. So if you do want to share your screen and you want to share a whiteboard with everybody that's able to watch, what you're going to want to do is instead of sharing your screen as it's shared right now, what you want to do is share the whiteboard. So the way that you'll do that is just select, instead of share my screen, you'll share whiteboard. And you click share. And then from here, you can write on your whiteboard. You can use text on the whiteboard. You can type whatever you like there. You can draw. You can use different stamps. You can spotlight things. You can also erase. You can also clear the entire thing, clear all the drawings. You can clear the viewer's drawings if one of your students in your class would like to draw on here. So as you're doing this, you need to remember that you're going to be teaching with this whiteboard that is on your computer screen, but also you're going to be sharing the screen that all of your students are going to be able to see. So your students can see what you are writing on your screen. And I'm looking over to the side here. I can share that right now. See if you can see this. I know it's not the best angle, but you can see the whiteboard that's over there. Perhaps you can see the square that I'm drawing on there. Maybe if I draw something on there, you can see it a little bit better. I'll draw like this. Now the screen isn't that great to be able to see what is being drawn from this angle, but I can see it as a student. So if you wanted to teach using that, that could be a possibility as well. Also remember that this camera is not going to follow you around, so you need to position it so you're being seen at all times. Because the people that are on the Zoom meeting or watching this presentation a little bit later are not going to be able to follow you, or might have a difficult time following you if you say, step over to the podium. This podium is just a step or two next to me. And as you can tell, I'm not in shot again. Now I am in the shot, but I'm teaching at the podium now. So it just depends on your desired use of it. This camera is pretty easy to use, but you can only use it with one program at a time. So it's hard to make sure that you are working with the camera as you would desire.
So now that we've seen that, let's take a look at some things to think about. These are some final thoughts. Now, you notice that I was limited to the podium because I was using just the classroom software, but that doesn't mean that you have to do that. You can sign on to a Zoom meeting using your cell phone. You can walk around the classroom. Remember, there are going to be some limitations to that as well. You're going to maybe look like you are live streaming or not podcasting, but live streaming a video. You could just use audio as you're walking around the class. Remember to share correctly. You noticed in my video, I was talking about some things that were on my screen that you weren't able to see. I was talking about the different pen options and writing options, and those were not being able to be seen. And also think of both classes. Think of the class that's sitting in front of you and the class that is on your Zoom meeting. There's going to be different limitations. Maybe you need to repeat a question or maybe speak up a little bit more. There are some definite limitations to it, but with a little bit of use, you can definitely get around those. And finally, we would love for you to come to talk to us if you need anything. Just here is our phone number and here is our email address.